Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Match Bell podcast, the place where we talk all things wrestling, past and present. Previously, our retro reviews have focused on the best of the best pay-per-views of all time. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. Today, we're going to do a retro review of WWE/ECW's December to Dismember.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you agree with what we say or disagree with us, leave us some notes in the comment. If you enjoy what you're watching for more content like this, like and subscribe, as that will really help us. Also, if you prefer to listen to us on the go, you can find us on your favorite podcasting apps. I'm your host, Stephen, and Brock Lesnar is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Joining me today, I have Alex.
Hi. My microphone works for once on an intro.
Woo!
I hope.
What did you say?
Alex, you there?
You're hilarious. I didn't see anything wrong with Roman Reigns saying suffering succotash when he did.
Yeah, we got Richard.
Hi. Kelly gets less attractive every time I see her.
Oh, Liam.
Hi. Kelly was one of the best Divas champions ever.
And we got my man Johnny.
Edge should have stayed retired.
That's staying up for the bald bros.
You take that
Right.
back.
Let's get into this. We're let's let the bodies hit the floor. Got some pay-per-view facts for you. I don't know if we can come up with some kind of cool name for like a retro pay-per-view facts section. I'll let you think about that bit of homework for you. This aired December 3rd, 2006 and had a runtime of 2 hours and 14 minutes. It came from the James Brown Arena in Augusta, Georgia, with the attendance of 4,800 people. So pretty small arena there. Yeah, big for ECW though, to be fair. Pay-per-view received very little build-up on Raw and SmackDown. They focused mainly on Survivor Series, which was held 1 week prior to this, so it didn't get much build-up. It says here it was the only ECW brand exclusive pay-per-view that WWE produced before deciding that all future pay-per-views would feature all brands. After this, promotion continued for over 3 more years, where ECW discontinued in February 2010. I was surprised with that. I thought this kind of would have been like a nail in the coffin type thing. Well, yeah, we've got 3 more years of ECW. Joey Styles and Taz and commentary, Justin Roberts ring announcer, and the last fact, the superstar mentioned most throughout the whole show was that barbed wire baseball bat. My God, they would not shut up about that barbed wire baseball bat.
It was Melina a close second.
Pretty close. Oh my God, that scream. We'll get to it. Why don't we go for the usual way? Get some quick thoughts on the pay-per-view. What you thought? Start with you, Alex. Why not? You top there. Give me your general thoughts, your overall feelings coming out of this.
Just remind me how long it was.
2 hours and 14 minutes.
Right, that's 2 hours and 14 minutes of my life I am never getting back. You are lucky I am here to commentate on this today because I was really about to fall asleep through every single match.
Let's never forget we've got Liam to thank for this for suggesting it.
Yeah, cheers, Liam.
Richard, overall feelings?
I enjoyed some of the matches, but I didn't like the pay-per-view. Weird. I didn't feel emotionally invested in any match, so I didn't care who won.
Yeah.
But there were some enjoyable matches. I enjoyed the tag team match. I enjoyed both tag team matches.
Okay.
And I quite enjoyed the main event, but the rest of it was a bit meh.
Liam, why did you put us? Can you tell us why you put us through this?
Because you made me sit through X7, which is
the best pay-per-view of all time.
Supposedly the best pay-per-view of all time.
And it
is. So then I thought, well, we've done the best. Why don't we now do the worst?
Yeah, I was about to say, Liam, this wasn't even the best December to Dismember.
That is very true.
That was the whole point. We were picking the worst pay-per-view and watching it.
Johnny?
Same with Richard, really. I liked bits of it. Didn't really care about most of it, though, for the most part.
Yeah, so my thoughts... Oh, sorry, I thought you were finished.
Honestly, guys, I'm not being funny, right?
There's not much to elaborate on.
We're literally 5 minutes in and you've already praised the worst pay-per-view of all time.
I'm going to... Right, okay.
What's wrong with you?
What I'm going to say is, I've tried really hard to go into this with a positive mindset. For me, the show was trash. For an extreme championship wrestling pay-per-view, there were very few extreme moments. Most of the matches were just singles matches with wrestling. The commentary was trash. They were creepy. They were homophobic. They were sexist. I hated it. And yeah, let's get onto it. We started out straight. We go straight out. Hardy Boys versus Eminem with Melina. So we'll go through the usual things. We get a bit of setup for this. The only setup package we had for this was that the Hardys competed on ECW and Eminem attacked them. This was because they're all actually Raw and SmackDown superstars. These are not ECW superstars. This is not an ECW match.
Probably why it was the only good match. Oh my god.
Probably. Google gave me a bit of setup. I had a quick look through. It seemed like Nitro and Jeff were feuding. They had loads of matches leading up to Survivor Series. Then there was the Hardys issued an open challenge. Nitro accepted and announced for one night only we were going to get the return of Eminem. Also, Voodoo Kin Mafia were the first to accept the open challenge, but they were a TNA team, so WWE did not acknowledge it.
Didn't know
Yeah, there was like at a press conference, open challenge for the titles, and they came out like, yeah, we'll have the match. Like, no, you're a TNA team.
that.
Finished. The Hardy Boys won the match in 23 minutes and 33 seconds after a double neck breaker into double swanton. And yeah, let's get into it. Give me some thoughts.
Liam.
This match.
Yeah, we'll start with this.
All right. This match was. This match started off the pay-per-view with a high point, and then it was just all downhill from here. There's not really much else to say, is there? Like, why were they feuding? Why were they on this card?
They were feuding because Raw and SmackDown
Yeah,
and
but...
Nitro and Jeff were feuding.
But like, why? If Nitro and Jeff are feuding, why do we have to get the reunion of Eminem? I'm not being funny, right? But I muted the audio after Melina's first scream. I was like, no, I don't need to listen to this Irish banshee on ringside. Just make a load of noise. I don't need this. So I muted the audio. So I don't have a clue what happened on commentary in this match because
I can tell you what happened on commentary. I can tell you exactly what happened on commentary. A lot of sexism and a lot of creepiness.
Well, I'm not really surprised, to be quite honest. The only good thing I got from this was that there was some good tag team wrestling, and that's about it.
Anyone want to build on that?
Yeah, I enjoyed the double team moves. Like there was some good double team moves. It was really annoying that there were so many comments about Melina before the match even started. And then just continued all the way through.
That's made me feel very uncomfortable watching this whole show.
Yeah. I had to mute the audio as well because when she screamed, it scared the life out of my cats. And I feel like the match just went on way too long.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it could have been cut in half and still been a decent runtime.
Yeah,
I think it
the only
needed to be this
downside to
one.
that was if this one was shorter, then that means one of the other ones would have been longer.
Exactly.
And that would have been
I think this needed to be this long because other than this in the main event, every other match was between 5 and 7 minutes. It was just a card of filler matches. We had two matches. They had two matches. They had one ECW match and one Raw and SmackDown match, and they just had to pad something in between. For me, this was match of the night easily. That's not saying much. That is not saying much. There's some really good back and forth tag team wrestling. Lots of getting the opponent in the corner. I thought when Melina wasn't screaming and when she was getting involved as a heel, it was great. Some great moments. We got some really cool spots in here. Had like Nitro jumping the top rope and Jeff jumping over the outside from the turnbuckle and stuff.
Can I just stop you there for a minute? You're saying that was a great spot. I'm sorry, but I wholeheartedly disagree. Right?
That's a cool spot, didn't it?
No. Right. Was it Mercury jumped over the top rope and attacked his own tag team partner? And then all three of them were then on the floor, Eminem and Matt. And then Jeff decides he's now going to go and attack his tag team partner.
He got the other guys as well. How about I raise you this? How about the moment in the corner when Nitro's kind of in a tree of woe and Mercury pushes him up to save him into the Hurricane Rana? I thought that was a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, I thought that was a good spot. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, I've saved myself. Again, not an ECW match. Didn't feel like an ECW match because it wasn't, but match of the night, and it was for what it was. On any other card, it'd be a kind of a middle match, but in comparison to the rest of the matches, I thought this was a very good match. About Johnny and Richard, what about you two?
Go on, Johnny.
I really liked it, to be honest. Like it says, quite a few spots which are pretty nice and smooth. Like I think to me, it's like a weird time. It was prime Hardy Boys because like they were really good, but it wasn't a good Hardy Boys match. It's like a weird thing to kind of get in my head, but like you compare it to all the other good matches that they've had in the past or around that time, and it just doesn't compare. Boys in their prime era kind of time. But overall, it was okay. Like you said, match of the night in consideration of everything else. But
We should have ended the pay-per-view after this match. and it
Just
would
have this match and
have
we'll
been
go
a
on.
5-star
the
pay-per-view.
plan in reverse. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Go on, Richard, have I?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, you got to say. All right. Okay. That is probably that. None of the rest of the next matches up until the main event are going to last this long. We're going to probably talk about the rest for like 2 minutes each. But
Can I
first,
have dibs on the first comment on this next match?
you can. But first, we got a backstage segment. So we build up to the main event promoting the Extreme Elimination Chamber. Did you know that there's going to be a barbed wire baseball bat? Don't think they mentioned that.
God, spoilers.
We get a talking head segment with RVD, which I thought throughout the rest of the night we'd have every other like competitor talking to the camera, but no, we just get RVD. He says, does he understand there's going to be risks? Obviously, because there's a barbed wire baseball bat. Does he understand that he's going to leave the match with more scars in his body and face? Obviously, because there's a barbed wire baseball bat. And does he understand they might not walk out of this match? I think you know where I'm going with this. But he doesn't care because it's for the title. Then we get Matt Striker versus Balls Mahoney. Wikipedia did not tell me the setup for this match because Wikipedia only cared about the first match and the main event. So
Can you at
I'll
least
just
tell
say
us
what-
what striker rules are?
I can. We'll go there. So I'll explain this out, but what we got before the match. Matt talks in the ring about how he wants Balls to come to the ring. He reminds us of the chaos and destruction, and he has a responsibility to restore order. The match will be Extreme Rules and extreme enforcement of the rules. No gouging of the eyes, no pulling of the hair, no maneuvers off the top rope, no foul language, and this is a Strikers Rule match.
They were the
Balls
same
Mahoney.
rules that Liam had before we started this podcast, right?
Exactly. Balls Mahoney won the match in 7 minutes and 12 seconds, which with a move that I could not find the name of. Let's have a give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts, everyone. What's everyone think of this one?
So I didn't actually watch this match properly because I got too distracted by the guy on the hard cam swinging a kendo stick around like he just discovered what his willy does.
Do you know what? I actually wrote the exact same thing in my notes.
You did.
I did. I wrote in my notes. Kendo stick man keeps waving his thing.
Let me start with actual thoughts on this match because I think I'm going to be in a position where nobody else is. I didn't hate it. It was trash. It was filler. It was nothing less, but it was kind of fun in a weird way. I thought I like
I'm on the same
Striker.
page with
I
that.
liked what Striker was kind of like breaking the rules, being all healy. I appreciated when he focused on the arm and he was kept breaking his own rules behind the referee's back. It was a really anticlimactic ending. I think, yeah, them forcing Balls to wrestle a regular match when he's not that kind of wrestler is a bad idea. Let's get this guy in here that just uses weapons and brutalize people, and let's have him have a wrestling match, which is terrible. It's not going to lead to a good match, but in comparison to some of the other matches on this card, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I think it's still relatively high up on the card in terms of a good match.
I wouldn't say a good
but
match, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah. So one thing I completely forgot that the guy existed.
I did, to be fair.
As soon as he wore that title, I was like, wow, this is like a bad Raven ripoff. Like, exactly the same kind of look like. But yeah, I pretty much agree with you, to be honest. So I liked all the stuff that Striker was doing. And yeah, it's pretty quick ending.
Yeah, it was a bit out of nowhere.
But
even though I thought that way, it still kind of drained the crowd, though, didn't it?
Oh yeah,
the crowd were dead after this. Anyone else?
I my biggest takeaway from this match was that I think Balls Mahoney must have been at the refried beans backstage because he'd blown a hole in his shorts. The guy needs new shorts, man. This was such a weird match. Like, it was so weird watching Balls Mahoney mat wrestle. I was just like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And then it dawned on me after the match that Balls Mahoney probably can't actually perform in a proper match. So that's why they had like 7 minutes of rest holds, because
Yeah,
if you can't swing a weapon, then you can't wrestle.
Maybe he had a separated shoulder.
He's giving the Randy Orton treatment.
He's not a wrestler, is he? This is taking someone out of his comfort zone and trying to force him to do something that he can't do.
Like, I don't understand why he didn't just say, do you know what? I'm an extreme wrestler. I'm going to get a weapon out from under the ring and I'm going to get myself disqualified because screw you, Matt Striker. Screw your rules.
That's crazy. It's crazy for you to expect any extreme wrestling and extreme championship wrestling in 2006.
I know, and I don't know what I expected. But there you go.
Richard, Alex, one of you two?
I already gave my view.
I really enjoy Matt Striker. I enjoyed him on Lucha Underground. I don't know if you knew this,
What?
but
You watch Lucha Underground?
I used to watch Lucha Underground.
No way.
Where he never actually wrestled. I don't think he did anyway. He was always on commentary, and I was always like, he's at one point he will get in the wrestling ring, but he didn't. But yeah, the way you said he set the rules and then he broke them, it was very Regal-esque. I could see Regal doing that, and we'd be applauding him for doing it. So I think we should do the same for Matt Striker. He was very good in this. I enjoyed it. An underrated heel, I think, in WWE history. I enjoyed him a lot. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it was probably JBL who got him bullied into leaving the company.
Yeah, I think someone. I remember a commentator once saying, "It's only cheating if you get caught."
Yeah, probably.
Which doesn't make sense.
Maybe. Sounds like a JR thing, maybe. Anyway, we next have a backstage segment. CM Punk punches the air. Oh wait, something's happened. Sabu is face down, unconscious and unresponsive.
Was he above him?
He was. Maybe. I don't know. Paul Heyman.
Sabu into oblivion.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul Heyman gets angry that nobody knows what's happened because he's in the main event tonight. Crowd chants a naughtier version of bull poop. So yeah, the crowd weren't happy about this. And next, we're in for a treat. We have Elijah Burke and Sylvester Takai versus the full-blooded Italians, Tony Marmaluke and Little Guido Maritato, with Trinity, obviously. Again, Wikipedia gave me nothing. So welcome to the Elijah experience. The crowd didn't boo or cheer. They didn't care at all. and they're going to leave their mark like a wild animal in heat. Bring their opponents. Man-Bear and him are going to feast. Elijah and Sylvester win in 6:41 when Sylvester hits Marmaluke with a forearm and Elijah hits him with the Elijah experience. Go for it. Go for it. What
Why
is
are they
this?
fighting? Why are they fighting?
The
There's
people,
no reason.
the people were so bored. It was so quick that they started chanting TNA. The crowd were chanting. The ECW crowd weren't chanting ECW. They were chanting TNA. When
Was this before or after Elijah Burke went to TNA as Pope D'Angelo De Niro?
I think this was before. I think they chanted it because Sylvester did a muscle buster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I assumed as
Yeah,
much,
that's
but-
yeah.
He did do a muscle buster.
For
Yeah.
Samoa Joe.
Right.
This was
First things first, though.
go for it.
Who is this turkey guy? Because
It's a
I don't
guy.
remember him
I don't remember him
at
either.
all.
Let's Google.
I just don't know who this guy is. Like, he walked down to the ring with Elijah Burke. I was like, oh, there's Elijah Burke. And I was like, who's this guy that's got turkey written on his clothes?
Well, they made him look like he was meant to be German with all the like Germany flag affiliated
Yeah.
clothing. The guy's from California, I'm pretty sure.
He was born in Washington. Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
God.
He attended North Carolina State University. He finished second in the 1992 NCAA Division I heavyweight tournament, losing to future Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle by 2 points to 1.
This is almost as
That
bad
sounds pretty.
That's pretty
As-
impressive.
Yeah.
as later on in the night. I think it's later on in the night. Where we've got that guy who comes out and he just looks like a young Big Show. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I can't
What's
remember the
it
name.
called?
I'm sure we'll
Might
get to
not.
it. Great Khali.
No.
Young.
We'll get to it. Basically, the guy was an MMA guy who was in WWE for 1 year, then didn't wrestle for 3 years, and then went to Japan for a year, and then nothing. So,
That's a shame. He had a good look.
and he came second to Kurt Angle in the NCAA Division I heavyweight tournament in
Well,
1992.
when it's one-on-one wrestling, you do normally come either first or second. So I'll agree with that.
There's more people in the tournament than two.
Oh, so I thought you meant just like, all right, okay.
No, in the whole tournament. Anyway, we'll get back to the match. We had more of the commentators being perverts. Yeah, the
To
only
be fair,
the
I'm
one
kind of
thing.
guilty. I literally, every time she was on the screen, my eyes went whoop.
Yeah.
I think
There's,
for the match
That was
winner.
Johnny, not the rest of us, all right.
Yeah.
there's one thing in this match that popped the crowd a little bit and made me smile is when Lil Guido robbed Elijah's hat and he started messing around with the hat. And then after that, I didn't care again. I was like, the hat's gone, I'm gone. And yeah, I was just this is the worst so far. It was sloppy, it was boring. I wanted out at this point.
And was this where WWE got all the experience bit going, like the Viking experience? This is the start of this.
The Elijah experience.
Yeah. So as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my god, it begins.
I know. What did everyone else think of the match then?
Yeah, I wasn't invested in this. Like, I think this was the one that actually really threatened the point where I was going to fall asleep.
I wrote in my notes, if Liam's here, this is your fault, Liam, for suggesting this pay-per-view. If Liam isn't here, this is Liam's fault for suggesting this pay-per-view, and he doesn't even show up and watch it. But you did show up and watch it, but it's still your fault.
I know. Could have
Yeah,
at least watched the 1996 December to Dismember.
Much better.
Oh, it was actually 95. You got it right. the
95,
second
sorry.
time.
Oh, fair enough. It was 95 then.
Yeah, has anyone
Yeah.
got anything else to say, or should we just move on?
No, I've got nothing to say about this match.
This was horrendous.
Turkey is the guy who looks like young Big Show. I've googled it.
Oh,
No.
right, yeah. I thought something
Yeah.
else happened on this pay-per-view, but obviously nothing happened on this pay-per-view.
No, I was looking at my notes going, which match was it? Because I didn't write anyone's names down. I just put match 1, match 2, match 3.
Turkey. Sylvester Turkey.
What's the
Um,
turkey?
So Sabu is finally put into an ambulance after all this time. RVD and Punks are there to watch, and then it's that we get to Davari with the Great Khali versus Tommy Dreamer. Davari speaks in Farsi, which is obviously the language that isn't English, so I expected the crowd to be really angry, but the crowds even didn't care about this.
No,
When an American crowd doesn't care about this, the only person that got angry was Taz. So, yeah, Taz is the biggest.
Taz's got little man syndrome, though.
I know.
Yeah.
It's angry all
Davari,
makes it happy.
Davari wins in 7 minutes and 22 seconds with a roll up. Carly then comes out into the ramp and destroys Dreamer, who now can't feel his feet. And then Tommy kind of crawls away. I'm pretty sure this is where. I'm sure this is the night that Tommy Dreamer quit, didn't I? Or he said he wanted out or something. I'm sure that happened somewhere. I'm sure I've read that.
I think this is the night.
So-
put me off, to be honest.
Yeah, my first thing I've got in my notes is woo, another ECW legend in a regular singles match.
I mean,
Yep.
if he did say he was going to quit after tonight, I'm not surprised when he gets beat with a. Oh, you're going to need a beat machine. With a roll up.
The most devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
Let's not start stealing other YouTube channels.
With a roll up, though.
I know. Tommy Dreamer, of all people.
Could have been a backslide. That'd have been worse.
Yeah.
You have to just look at his shoulders to get out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the bookers on this show really didn't want an ECW excited crowd to get anything ECW.
Just putting the shovel in.
Yeah. I liked that the referee actually did his job and kicks Carly out. Like, ooh, the referee he can see. He can hear. What's going on there?
Couldn't see though, to be honest. I'm pretty sure on the replay it was back to turn to him when Carly pulled the rope down.
Now you turn around and he's like, get out!
And it's like, go on, Carly, get out.
I thought this was better than the last two matches. Again, it wasn't good. I'm not saying it was good. I'm saying it was maybe just creeping into okay.
I don't
Maybe.
think so. I
No.
think it's a bit less than that still.
Yeah, maybe. It's a stretch. It's stretches even say it's okay or yeah.
It's like middle ground of poor.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only bit I can remember was a part where Davari got Tommy Dreamer in a headlock, and they were like, "It's not in properly," and I think someone said something like, "That's because Tommy's neck's too thick."
Yeah.
And that's all I remember about this.
Again, it was.
Like the camera panned to him, you saw it. So,
Oh, no.
I was face clogged up to his chest. Just like,
And there was another bit as well where when the Great Khali came back out and slammed him, somebody shouted something in the background that really made me laugh. It sounded like some quotation from South Park. It was really funny. I was like, Eva, get in here and listen to this. And she was like, that's well funny. But I can't remember what it was. I didn't write it down.
Should have wrote it down.
It's just some one bloke you could hear really clearly.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
funny.
Is there anything more for us to say? Does anyone want to say anything? No.
Why were they fighting?
Because that's all I've got. Because
When they came out, right? When they came out, I was like, oh, the Great Khali and Davari are going to have a 2-against-1 against Tommy Dreamer. This will be interesting to see how Tommy gets out of this.
with weapons.
And then Great Khali just stands around on the outside for 4.5 minutes and then pulls the rope down and gets sent to the back. And I was like, what's the point of him even being here?
It was
I
all
also got really confused when they got pulled away outside the ring.
Walk down that bloody ring ramp. Like, I can barely walk, and you made him walk down the ring. And then the other thing I wrote down was Carly's choke bomb is the first extreme thing that's happened all night. Because it was literally the first time someone used something that's quote unquote a weapon. Because he choke bombed him onto the stage, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's probably the most extreme we're gonna get tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, why did Dreamer have to lose? What was
Did
the
you not
point?
know? they've been setting up this barbed wire baseball bat all night, Liam. You know we're going to get extreme at some point.
Oh, well,
Biggest deal of the
we'll
night.
get to that barbed wire baseball bat. We'll get to it, won't we?
Anyway, we get another backstage segment. Paul Heyman finds Hardcore Holly and asks him to be in the main event because it's best for ECW. I want to know why Bob's in his ring gear now. He's not scheduled for a match. Does he
One
live
of
in
the,
them?
It was
Is
all
that what
part
he
of the
lives in?
plan, weren't it? It was all part
Does
of
he-
the plan.
Does he go to Walmart in his outfit?
But he's obviously the one that did it to.
I know, but
Oh,
come on.
right, yeah, sorry.
He's
Kayfabe.
excited for the match anyway. Next, we've got Mike Knox and Kelly Kelly versus Ariel and Kevin Thorne. Kelly grabs a mic and wishes CM Punk luck. Again, no setup on Wikipedia. Mike is jealous and he's now angry at Kelly because Kelly loves Punk, or so the commentators make it sound. The match is extreme because it's vampires versus exhibitionists. And if that's not enough setup for you, then, I mean, come on.
What is?
Vampires hate exhibitionists. Ariel and Kevin Thorne win in 7 minutes and 43 seconds when Ariel does a chokeslam leg trip sweep thing on Kelly Squared for the win. I've not even wrote any match notes on. Oh yeah, I did. I did. I've just titled it backstage segment for some reason. I enjoyed that the commentators kept saying he's a big guy regardless of vampirism, or he's a good technician regardless of his vampirism. Like vampirism is something that would stop you from being able to
Instantly
technically
as a
wrestle. That kind of made me laugh. Yeah, this was dull. This was trash. It made me laugh when the ref went like that with his ears when Ariel screamed.
Was it the same ref as the Molina match? Because
He might have
he was already
tinnitus.
deaf by that point.
you might have tinnitus by now.
Some
PTSD.
absolutely terrible wrestling, especially from the women. Just bad wrestling. This was trash. Mike walked out on Kelly. The crowd were hoping for CM Punk, but CM Punk doesn't care about Kelly. That's my thoughts. It was shouldn't. I just wish I hadn't seen this.
Oh, didn't someone come down for the save though?
We'll get to
Yeah,
that.
the Sandman comes out.
We'll get to that.
So that's after the match.
Because obviously Sandman cares about Kelly Squared.
No, he just really hates vampires.
Yeah. He came out to.
I'm not here for you.
The crowd popped. Is the most excited the crowd have been all night so far. He beats up Kevin Thorne with the kendo stick for a bit till Kevin runs around and Sandman chases him. That happened. I didn't care for any of this. I wish I hadn't seen any of this. I, at this point of my night, just wanted to turn the TV off and go and cry in the corner. I thought vampires versus exhibitionists would at least have something going for it, but it was just a basic match that was boring. No vampire stuff. He was just a
No
technical.
exhibition stuff. Well,
No.
from one side of it.
Did I say anything exciting in my notes? No, that was it. I've said everything now. Go on. Anyone else want to go on? Have at it.
I was glad that they got this vampire gimmick out of the way before Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux turned up. Because you see, that was a dark road that they were definitely going to go down. I thought Sandman was a bit of a discount New Jack. Busted himself open with a beer can of all things.
That's what Sandman does.
Yeah.
Oh, that's old school.
And it's like, do you know when you get the proper cheap rip-offs of like mainline films? It's like somebody watched What We Do in the Shadows and Blade and was like, hear me out. What if they wrestled and Blade was white but cut himself with beer cans?
But Alex, he's a good technician regardless of his vampirism.
Oh God, no.
Anyone else? Richard's not said very much today. I feel like we've really traumatized Richard.
No, I'm not used to going last, and I now realise that once you go last, you have nothing else to say.
I'll let you go first on the next one.
Out of like trying to figure it out, do you reckon the Sandman just picks a random door and comes out, or do you reckon the hard cam is just really good at pretending he doesn't know which door is coming out?
Where is it? Where's it going?
When they first did it, I was like, "What's happening? What? Who's coming out?"
I don't think we can trust Sandman to do anything anyway. If they
Probably
planned for him to come out one
Robert.
door, he'd come out another one.
Yeah.
That's just Kevin Dunn doing his usual cameras
Let's
editing.
zoom.
Oh.
Oh. Yep.
Oh,
Is that it?
Yeah, that was it. Sorry.
Right. Backstage segment. We're all very drained. We're all very angry at this point. We get a Bobby Lashley interview. Paul Heyman has it in for Lashley. Let's look. Lashley superlexes Big Show. He wants ECW Championship, but Paul gets the Goon Squad out. Oh, this is kind of like flowed into setup. This was a backstage segment, and then we got set up, but we'll kind of all encompass it. Can Lashley overcome the odds? Lashley doesn't care because nobody's going to stop him. One man, one mission. ECW champion. Test, Hardcore Holly, Big Show and Heyman make their way to the ring, and we get the proper setup. And we actually got a lot of setup for this. I've got a lot of writing, so I'll just speed through it. First time ever, we get an extreme elimination chamber match. Big Show says it's the most extreme match in history. Did you know there's going to be a barbed wire baseball bat? Big Show likes his odds because nobody can beat him, and if nobody can beat you, then pretty odds on that you're going to win there. Lashley is fast and strong. Punk knows Kung Fu. RVD puts his body on the line. Test is aggressive, and Sabu feels at home in the chamber, but he's gone now anyway, so that doesn't matter. Big Show's the favourites. They talk about how big it is. It's a lot of meters and feet and yards and miles and tons.
2 miles of pain.
And they say it's super hardcore. Holly's happy he's in the match now because the only reason he didn't get a spot was Lashley attacked him on the way to a qualifying match. That's why he's going to help him out. Bit of backstory. Heyman comes to the ring with the Goon Squad, or Doug and Danny Basham, that in Riot Gear. Paul Heyman welcomes us to the main event. Realize this was created, blah, blah, blah. Hulkamania dies when Hulk does. Woo dies when Ric Flair does. ECW will live long after Heyman, but he got that one wrong, didn't he? That Woo's still going on. That Woo's going to carry on. The day of Sandman, Sabu, and RVD is dead. Like it or not, this is the age of... Yeah, I've wrote this is the age of WCW, but this is the age of ECW, led by Big Show. And we're all very happy with this ECW, aren't we? It gets lowered. We get another shot of the barbed wire baseball bat. I wonder whose chamber pod that's in. Big Show's out first, and he goes into the pod with the barbed wire baseball bat because he knows that's the main weapon. CM Punk's next. CM Punk gets a chair. Test is out. He gets a crowbar. Lashley's out. He gets a table. 2 men to start the match, and don't get any weapons are Hardcore Holly and RVD. So for the first 5 minutes of this match, it's just going to be a regular Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah,
there's
but
nothing extreme about it.
The chamber is a weapon.
It's still
and only those 2 people are allowed to use
it. So I'm going to go for eliminations and finish. CM Punk's eliminated first when he gets a chair drop kicked into his head and then hit with a 5-star frog splash in 12 minutes and 35 seconds. Hardcore Holly is out next when Test hits him with a big boot in 12 minutes and 45 seconds. RVD is out third when Test hits an elbow drop from the top of a pod to a steel chair on RVD's head in 14:15.
Oh, yeah.
Then Test's eliminated fourth when Lashley hits him with a crowbar and a spear in 19 minutes 42 seconds. And then finally, Big Show's eliminated last when Lashley hits him with a spear in 24 minutes and 42 seconds. And let's get into it. Do you want to go first, Richard?
I feel like the baseball bat with barbed wire is a bit like the golden gun in 007. And if anyone did get hit with it, it would have been an automatic elimination.
But after the years of build-up, the big push, the barbed wire baseball bat got the proverbial rocket strapped to its back, and it did nothing.
Hey, it put some dents in that chair, I'll have you know.
I know when he came out and started whacking it, and then...
Well, it must be good, because The Walking Dead used it a few years later.
That was all ECW was doing.
This was Bobby Lashley, as I remember him. None of this modern day rubbish. Like, he was a beast in this match.
Do you think?
This was when Bobby Lashley was good. Come on, Liam. This is our era. This is what we like.
Yeah, but I mean, did you hear him during his promo before it?
No, I didn't. I didn't pay attention to anything.
One man, one mission.
He was like,
One man,
one
one
man,
mission.
one man,
Is that Trump?
one mission.
Like Trump.
It was
It's
really
my
good.
time.
Really, really good.
I got this. I'm like, Bobby, speak up. Come on, bit of oomph, project. But he's just, I don't like Bobby Lashley in this time
No.
era.
Is it just me, or when you hear extreme ECW elimination chamber match, do you think there's going to be more than 4 weapons? I assume
Yeah.
there'd be weapons everywhere.
They should have dangled it from the roof like baubles. That would have been great.
No, because that's an asylum match, pal.
It
Yeah,
wasn't. That wasn't a thing then.
That
Though.
wasn't a thing back in 2000 and whatever this was.
It
Yeah.
was 95, I think. It was yeah,
96.
it wasn't anything abnormal, was it? It was just a normal match. There was some good shot like that. Did RVD take a chair shot in the
Oh,
corner?
he got his face messed up.
Oh, yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
straight after that, I think he got kicked again in the head from it.
Yeah.
That
And then
was,
Test came out with the crowbar and started on his head
Yeah,
on the
gouging his
balloon.
head out.
and then was it Test that jumped from the top of one
Yeah,
of the chambers?
yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
good spot. There were some good spots.
I wrote down a load of good spots.
From
Yeah.
how flimsy those tables are, I'm not sure how it ripped through the chains
Steel.
to get. Yeah. So,
That was
Yeah.
such a stupid spot. It made
I-
no sense at all.
No, I know.
yeah,
I know,
then there
it's
was
a bit
another
weird.
bit where the Big Show went through one of the pods and then decided to smash the other side out just to show that he could do it as well.
Right,
look at me.
this is
What?
something- that spot. This is something I had a problem with during this match, right? Because during the match, the commentators kept going, "Oh, Big Show can't wait to get his hands on Bobby Lashley," and you can see him like banging on the plexiglass. And then as soon as the pod actually opens and he gets into the match, he can then suddenly smash through plexiglass. And I was like, if he was that concerned and he wanted his hands on Lashley that badly, why didn't he just smash through the glass in the first place?
Could have just poked the steel above him, to be fair, and just crawled out. Apparently it's really flimsy and easy to break.
No, they didn't break the plexiglass. They broke the bolts that were holding it in place. We have to remember that.
Oh, sorry.
As long as they use
Sorry.
stronger bolts, it'll be fine next time.
But yeah,
I'm gonna
he
cough.
could have literally just like knocked the glass out if he was that desperate, and it upset me that it really
So-
did.
From very early on, this was really early in Punk's career, but he was so over. The crowd were
Mm.
popping for him.
Well behind him.
And there was some really nice spots. I really liked that. There was a really cool spot where RVD tried to like sweep him and then kick him, but he dodged them both, and he put the chair on the floor, and then he leg dropped RVD's head onto the chair, and then he got eliminated. He got eliminated first early on. The crowd cheered at first because it was like, "Oh, RVD," and then I think it set in. It was like, "Oh, Punk," and then it just went silent, and that was such a bad decision. I know the story they were trying to tell didn't include CM Punk. CM Punk wasn't in the story of this match, but it took the air out of the crowd, didn't it?
Who wrote that?
And then
Oh,
Test goes out quick, and then RVD goes out from a cool spot, but the crowd just started booing at that point when Punk and RVD were both gone. The crowd turned. That was the moment this match completely lost the crowd.
it doesn't make sense to eliminate.
That was really good.
It was good.
That
It was a good spot and everything.
Top of the cage elbow drop.
Yeah, I really liked that. I really liked Test in this. He really aggressive.
A little podgy though.
He did, but he felt his aggressiveness felt quite like ECW. Like this felt like the most ECW match. It still didn't feel like an ECW match, but it felt like it was the closest.
It was the only one with weapons.
Well, yeah, true. It's the only one with blood.
Yeah. Well,
I
I honestly don't understand why they had 3 people go out in quick succession and Punk gets eliminated first. Why?
Yeah. He didn't need to. Holly could have.
Holly could have took the first pin.
So yeah, and then the Bashams won't let Lashley out. There was some moments in that it's like they didn't time it well. When Lashley eliminated Test, there was 1 minute and 20 seconds before the next entrant. And we just kind of sat around for 1.5 minutes while the chanted "This is bull poo." Lashley's in the ring. Lashley's the guy that's supposed to be over. He's the guy that the crowd is supposed to be on, and they're still there saying "This is bull poop." It was some really bad decisions in this.
They shouldn't have put Punk in the match if they wanted Lashley to be over. Like with all the stuff that the crowd were well far behind Punk, they didn't care about anyone else.
And they did care about RVD as well, but then they eliminated.
Oh, yeah. And not to the same extent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, from my understanding, this was the first iteration of the Vince shoving someone down your throat thing, and the whole situation with this elimination chamber was they took Sabu out so that they could put another heel in the match to give Bobby more evil people to beat, basically.
He didn't.
And it didn't, exactly. But yeah, it's like if you're trying to push Roman now, and we were still booing him, and you put like Yes Movement Daniel Bryan in the match.
You talking about that Royal Rumble?
Yeah, it's that Royal Rumble all over again. It's like white hot Daniel Bryan and take him out, and it's like, you dropped the ball. Like you completely missed what we want.
And even after all this, even after everyone they wanted to be eliminated was eliminated, they still had a table in there. The crowd still had someone to cheer for. And then Lashley just threw the table at a pod before Big Show even came out, and then that was it.
And the chair.
Yeah, and then Big Show came out with the barbed wire baseball bat, the most dangerous weapon in all of sports entertainment. And he just hits a chair with it a few times, and we never see it again.
Oh, it got stuck, didn't it?
He got stuck in the cage.
Yeah.
Chamber.
And then somehow Big Show miraculously got stuck to the cage as well.
yeah, I just
What?
rolled it into it. Yeah, I didn't like this. Some really bad decisions. There's some good moments, some really good spots, but
I love how you said that this was the only match with blood when we literally had a match with vampires before.
I know there was no blood there. We'd got a little bit after
Sandman
that.
busted himself open.
That wasn't in the match. That wasn't in the match though.
It was in the segment.
Yeah, got a tiny bit of blood. Does anyone? I've just talked for a while about how I hate this. Does anyone else want to say something else?
Yeah, can we not let Liam pick a pay-per-view?
Ever again?
Right. No, wait.
No.
Wait.
No.
Because we specifically chose this pay-per-view, or I specifically chose this pay-per-view.
Yeah, what's this week still?
You agreed.
We agreed. We knew
because
it was
we
gonna be
said
that.
we could literally just rag on it for an hour, which is what
Yeah.
we've done.
We
Don't
have.
complain and say, why did we have to watch this pay-per-view? Because you all
It's a great
agreed to watch a pay-per-view that you could rag on for an hour.
I did not agree to watch this at all. I don't know what
Did
you're talking
anyone enjoy this match?
No.
I thought maybe one of these were going to say something.
All I could think of was, my God, Bobby has not aged.
No, he's not, has
So
he?
it literally hasn't.
Yeah.
No, he looks great today. He looks great right now.
If anything, he's a little less shiny.
Yeah, he was very shiny. Yeah, the most disappointing thing about this pay-per-view was
Everything.
it was the build of the century. The barbed wire baseball bat was built so much.
Yeah, the bat should have gone over.
The bat should have gone over.
Can we just say, though, that bat had a better run than Braun Strowman's Universal title?
It did. Yeah, that was ECW. December to Dismember, 2006. Anyone else got anything to say before we sign off?
Never again.
Never again.
If anybody's still thinking of watching this pay-per-view after we've just
Don't.
ragged it through the privets and the hedges and whatever, seek medical help.
Please don't watch it.
Don't do it.
We do this so you don't have to.
Yeah.
So
That was easy
Probably
doing
the
December to
same.
Dismember. If you stayed this long, if you've enjoyed what you're saying, thank you so much. If you like what you saw, leave us a comment. Please, I'd like to know some other people's opinions on this pay-per-view. Is there a worse pay-per-view? Just let me know in the comments. If you liked this, if you want to see us talk about good pay-per-views, then please subscribe to us. You'll find more content like that. And thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.